Legislation is changing. Budgets are shifting, and terms like one big beautiful bill can feel anything but beautiful. That's where BHM CPA Group steps in. BHM's purpose is to simplify the complex. Their team is trained to meet today's challenges with real-world solutions in tax, accounting, and business planning. Get the clarity you deserve so that your business can thrive. Don't wait. Visit BHMCPAGroup.com. That's BHMCPAGroup.com. BHM, because running a business is hard enough. Your finances shouldn't be. If one big beautiful bill has left you with one big confusing question, turn to BHM CPA Group. Their experienced professionals break down complex changes in tax law, accounting, and business regulations so you can make informed decisions with confidence. Simplifying the complex is what BHM CPA Group does best. Don't wait. Visit BHMCPAGroup.com and let's get to work. BHM, because running a business is hard enough. Your finances shouldn't be. Visit BHMCPAGroup.com today.
It's Monday.
It's November 3rd.
And the word of the day is cayudle, which means to bark, holler, or otherwise make loud, useless noises. Used in a sentence, when asked about his policies, Trump's spokesperson cayudled.
I mean, it's all he can cayudle doodle do.
I'm no illusion.
I'm Eli Bosnick, and broadcasting delayed from America's far center, we are the Skepticrats.
On this week's episode, we'll check in with American democracy quick while we still can.
Our trip to Europe matches up with a jewel heist as a coincidence.
And Elon Musk will continue to try to build a world where he's right rather than admit he was wrong.
But first, the rest of the intro music.
Joining me for headlines tonight is my fellow skeptic rat, Eli Bosnick. Eli, what did you do to Heath this time?
Can't beat me in the points game if he's trapped in an Egyptian tomb, Noah.
Interesting. Interesting. And before we get going tonight, I want to remind everybody that our annual Vulgarity for Charity fundraiser has already begun. We're raising money for one of our favorite charities, Recovering from Religion, a group that offers tools and resources for people traumatized by their time in the church. Here's how the fundraiser works. You donate $50 or more to RFR at recoveringfromreligion.org. Then you fill out the form on their website under the heading Vulgarity for Charity, right across the top of the page. Can't miss it. That form will let you tell us who you'd like to roast, and you can even submit pictures.
We'll be roasting 100 of the submissions on air on the Scathing Atheist and over at Cognitive Dissonance, the 50 biggest donors, and 50 chosen at random. The earlier you donate, the more likely you are to have your submission chosen.
And we have a matching donor that'll double the first $15,000 in donations too, so early submissions count for more money as well. So go to Recovering from Religion, make your donation, and submit your roast request. We'll wait.
Yeah, we're tapping our feet at you right now, podcast listener. Tapping, I say.
That's right. In our lead story tonight, assuming Trump's deft leadership doesn't broker a deal between the record and the release date, the present U.S. government shutdown is 1 day away from tying for the longest in U.S. history.
Whew.
That record of 35 days was set during the last Trump presidency, which means that the government has now been shut down under Trump for more days than for all the other presidents in U.S. history combined.
Whew.
And since his last shutdown already cost more money than all the other shutdowns in history combined, whatever this one cost is all gravy in the record books for him. We won't know how much it costs until it's over, of course, since the people who tabulate that kind of shit are furloughed at the moment. But before they clocked out, the Congressional Budget Office estimated that a 4-week shutdown would cost between $7 and $14 billion. And we're wrapping up week 5 now.
Okay, but what's important is that we're not giving immigrants health care, right?
Yes.
A thing we never did, but we're especially not doing now,
We're not
apparently.
doing it even more now. And look, we talk a lot about how much money this will cost because it's a fairly easy way to tabulate the damage it's doing, but focusing on the dollar amount kind of obscures the human suffering at the heart of this, right? So over 2 million people work for the federal government, and about 750,000 of them were sent home without pay for the entire month of October. And while some of them were able to supplement their income with temporary jobs or gig work, it's kind of hard to get any work at all when potential employers know good and damn well that you're only there until the government opens back up, right? And since they have no fucking clue how long that's going to be, they really don't even know what to look for. And that's to say nothing of the hundreds of thousands of people who are still working despite not getting paid.
Right, yeah. And the good news is that Trump going house to house personally kicking voters in the nuts seems to be the only thing that gets people to stop voting for him. So he's doing fantastic work for us in the midterms is what we're saying.
Right, but it's not just the federal workers suffering, because most of those 750,000 people did shit.
All, I would argue.
Yeah,
Every
right.
single one.
And shit that matters. And in most instances, nobody's doing that shit anymore. So if you rely on any kind of government service to get by, right, like be that food assistance or mobility assistance or medical assistance or anything, you're either not getting it, you're getting less of it, you're fighting harder to get it, or at the best, you're getting it from an unpaid federal worker who's trying to subsist on rice, beans, and purloined packets of Arby's sauce.
Oh, you know what? Maybe this whole thing is an exercise to make the people who work at Snap more empathetic, right?
Oh,
it's just like,
there you go. Yeah. So in a telling reminder of this administration's priorities, it's worth noting that they've gone out of their way to find ways to pay soldiers and cops, while simultaneously going out of their way to find ways not to pay subsidies for food and education. Right? Trump has made it clear that he's intentionally choking off payments for the Head Start program and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, even though emergency funds exist that could be tapped to pay for that shit. So much so that 2 judges simultaneously ruled that he had to release those emergency funds right as the program was set to expire. Though at the time of this recording, it's unclear if and when that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's nice for us to go through the motions, though. At this point, laws are basically the happy birthday text that your divorced parents send each other. So,
right, yeah. Now, of course, no amount of human suffering is going to bring Trump to the negotiating table. And despite a few calls from within the GOP to make with the fucking healthcare subsidies already and end this shit, there are virtually no signs of movement on either side of this thing. The Democrats are still holding out to save Obamacare, and the Republicans are still killing poor people and starving children in order to end it. That's where we are in this country, where people just can't see any real difference between the two parties.
Well, you know, this helps because in the future, we'll now know that Republicans are thinner.
Now, fortunately, the public seems to mostly know who the bad guys are here. Right, despite the avalanche of Hatch Act violations on fucking every federally controlled website explicitly blaming communist Democrats for the shutdown, pretty much every objective poll that's been released on the issue since the shutdown began shows that Americans largely blame Republicans for it and broadly support the continuation of the Obamacare subsidies that are at the heart of the fight. At the same time, the Republican election strategy seems to be entirely based on redrawing maps to edge out all the democracy, so I don't know that still matters.
Yeah.
And speaking of the fact that they're coming to get you, it's probably a great time to tell you about our sponsor this week, ExpressVPN.
Yeah, not a bad time to get one. Seriously, you already have one of those.
Hey, Eli, what are you doing with my phone? Cut it out.
What? I was just looking through everything you've bid on eBay this month.
Why?
I mean, you're not using ExpressVPN.
So you can use my phone?
Sure can. If you're not using ExpressVPN, you might as well leave your phone out in the open for anybody to look at, because all your traffic flows through their servers. Internet service providers, including mobile network providers, know every single website you visit. And in the US, ISPs are legally allowed to sell that information to advertisers. ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure, encrypted servers, so your ISPs can't see your browsing history. That means less spam email and even more privacy.
Well, I like the sound of that, but do I have to be some kind of techno wizard to use it?
Not at all. Just fire up the app and click one button to get protected. Plus, it works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and more, so you can stay private on the go.
But have you actually tried it?
I sure have. I just used ExpressVPN when we were in England less than a week ago.
Really? For what?
You know what I used it for.
Oh, right. Forgot about that. And as someone living in Georgia, I'm sold. Where do I sign up?
Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/skepticrat. That's expressvpn.com/skepticrat to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months. expressvpn.com/skepticrat.
All right, Eli, thanks.
So, do you want to talk about these bids on the pinball machines?
I'll have you know that would be an investment.
Are they?
Well, I pay money for them.
That's fair. And we're back. And in Love It or Thieve It news, in times like these, I find myself longing for the news of yesteryear, when squirrels learned to surf and the most controversial thing the president did was be a black guy. So this week, when some thieves broke into the Louvre and stole millions of dollars worth of jewels, I felt downright nostalgic about it. So we are going to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see news stories about people stealing things other than democracy and human rights.
Right? Right? So here's the story in what's being called a brazen daylight robbery, because you can just break our cases if you bring a hammer doesn't sound cool. Two thieves raided the Apollo Gallery on the Louvre's upper floor using a truck-mounted ladder to climb through a window.
Brad Pitt turns to Danny Ocean and he's like, I told you we were overthinking this shit.
Literally, yeah. So in the course of the 7-minute heist, the two masterminds broke into two high-security display cases and made off with 9 items worth 88 million euros. Among the treasures, a diamond and sapphire jewelry set that included a tiara and a necklace once worn by Queen Marie Amélie and Queen Hortense.
No idea who those are. I feel like that's going to be hard defense, though, right? Like, just imagining these guys at a pawn shop going, nah, that was my Aunt Susie's old shit. She died.
I was Queen Hortense. What? Now, tragically, there are 2 men in custody for the crime because, of course there are. According to CNN, quote, authorities were able to track down the individuals after analyzing more than 150 samples of DNA left at the scene, end quote, which is impressive considering they left fewer fingerprints than the French government's ethics committee.
I'm sure they're just talking about like microscopic samples here, but in my mind's eyes, these guys were just walking around slobbering and jizzing all over the place.
I was also
7
picturing
minutes.
jizzing. I wanted to open the floor to all the jizz imagination. But this was no easy catch. One of the men almost escaped the long arm of Johnny Law and was arrested during a passport check before he could board a flight to Algeria, which is the most cinematic place to get caught unless you count as you light a cigarette in slow motion.
Sure, fair.
Either way, I think we can all agree this is a very exciting story that refreshingly has nothing to do with racism, fascism, or billionaires buying social media platforms. And besides, everyone knows that just as these guys are headed to jail, the cop in the front seat's going to turn around, bam, turns out to be Matt Damon's dad. So, all's well that ends well.
There you go. And in trouble maintaining an election news, politicians have election years. Much in the same way that professional athletes have contract years, right? There are years when their term is up and they have to run for re-election or get elected to something different. And their whole lives have to be planned around this shit, which is why the term election year has to exist in the world. But, importantly, America doesn't have election years.
No,
or rather, it only has election years. We do that annually. And the fact that people and news sources tend to divide the year into election years or off-election years feeds into this dangerous misconception so many people have that voting is something that you just do once every 4 years. That's not the fucking case. Election day is, in fact, tomorrow. And in some parts of the country, there are some damn important elections going on, so we are going to talk about them.
Spoiler alert, don't get your hopes up, everybody.
If the last 20 years of American politics have taught us anything. So, okay, we're going to start in Virginia, where our favorite listener, April Poff, has already voted. What's your excuse? Don't live in Virginia. Yeah, good excuse.
Okay,
now,
that's fair.
Yeah, but so you'll recall that the gubernatorial election in Virginia was a pretty damning bellwether back in 2021 when conservative demagogue Glenn Youngkin rode a wave of school-based paranoia into office to replace Ralph I haven't been in blackface in decades, though Northam. In doing so, Youngkin crafted the playbook that Republicans have been using ever since. All they've added since is fucking kitty litter boxes.
Yeah, it makes sense. Those are the only things that smell worse than Virginia.
Well, West Virginia.
Fun fact, I got one of those scare texts about the gubernatorial race in New Jersey that was like men in women's bathrooms. And I told the anonymous texter to kill themselves like an egg-sucking dog. And they haven't texted me since, so that was nice.
Oh, interesting. It's like responding no. Yeah. Now, Youngkin is not running for re-election. Of course, Virginia's constitution has a weird quirk where governors can't serve consecutive terms. So instead, the state will elect its first female governor on Tuesday, either Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spansberger or Republican and current Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. And here's hoping that A, the polling is right, and B, the state is as accurate a bellwether this time around, because right now it looks like Spanberger is going to fucking trounce the competition by double digits.
No, it sounds like someone is getting their hopes up.
Right? No,
don't do
right.
that. I mean, vote. By all means, do vote. You have to vote, but don't get your hopes up while you do it.
Yeah. Now, the other big gubernatorial election that the nation is watching this year, Eli already mentioned it, as it is in his home state, where the numbers are a lot closer, but they still favor the Dems. Now, you might be tempted to think, as I was, why the fuck would any statewide race be close in New Jersey? Aren't they one of the good states? But despite the fact that Jersey is consistently one of the most liberal states in the union, neither party has managed to hold on to the governor's mansion for 3 consecutive terms since the 60s. Because apparently the argument that has historically resonated most with the majority of Jerseyite voters has always been, no, fuck you.
Yeah, it's true. Also, if you've ever tried to merge in Jersey, you understand that we have way more Republicans than you'd think we do. We have
right. Now, but perhaps the most watched election in the U.S. this year is the mayoral election in New York City, where well-qualified socialist Zoran Mamdani squares off against proud sexual harasser Andrew Cuomo and Eli Bosnick character that got away from him, Curtis Sliwa. According to the latest polling, Mamdani still has a strong lead, so strong, in fact, that if Cuomo and Sliwa Voltron together into a single candidate, they still couldn't beat him. And that theoretically matters because you know that Sliwa has suggested it at this point.
Cuomo's like, for the last time, Curtis, we're both old enough to get into an R-rated movie, and Sliwa's just like, get on my shoulders. Come on. We can do this.
No. One of the most interesting stories as we're plucking our way through the final weekend before the election, though, is just how fucking disconnected from all of this shit Donald Trump seems to be. Right? Fucking Obama was out this weekend campaigning in both Virginia and New Jersey. Trump hasn't even endorsed Winsome Sears. And all Trump's done for the gubernatorial candidate in Jersey is a tele-rally, despite the fact that he's made Trump's endorsement the cornerstone of his campaign.
Yeah, there's no way I'm helping that guy out. I saw him celebrating with those Muslims on 9/11. I remember.
I bet he did.
They were having a party together.
Now, of course, if it's anybody's guess as to why Trump isn't more active on the campaign trail. Some say it's because he knows his party is going to get trounced and he wants to keep his distance. But there are some who think a lot of Republican candidates are doing everything they can to keep the historically unpopular president away. And then there's a third camp that thinks whatever weird fucking stroke he had or whatever is the reason he can't be on the campaign trail. Your pick.
Yeah, or maybe he's busy tweaking his next AI burn on the world's largest protest about how everyone hates him. It's hard to say.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate. Yeah, but the most important takeaway is that if you're an American and your vote hasn't been wrested from you by the state for some petty grievance meant to hide the nation's ongoing commitment to white supremacy, Tuesday is Election Day.
Yes, it is.
My state has 2 special elections, and my city's trying to push some property taxes off on the poor. And your city's probably doing some fucked up shit, too. So get informed and vote. It matters every year.
Every single year, you have to vote. But don't hope. Don't hope. Only voting, maybe a murder if you're feeling brave, but no hoping. No hoping.
No murdering
at
no
all.
Hoping.
And in grok of shit news, Elon Musk is such an impotent racist, universally reviled, societal pariah that it often feels like he's doing it on purpose. And when you have billions of dollars and you find yourself so universally reviled that your name appears next to asshole in the dictionary, what do? Why, you make your own dictionary by copying off Merriam-Webster's paper and then using a racist AI to fill in the rest, of course.
Yeah, we are 9 days from news breaking that he bought Parker Brothers so he could win a fight about the rules in Monopoly.
Yes, exactly. So I'm talking, of course, about Grokipedia, which, if you haven't heard of it, is Elon's very own Wikipedia with beer and hookers and a bunch of his own racism taken out of it, and it is just as pathetic as you're imagining it to be. So, first of all, It's broken. The website has seen multiple hours-long outages since its creation, but even when it's working, it's fucking tiny. It has about 900,000 articles compared to Wikipedia's 7 million, which would be like if I announced that the dictionary was bullshit, and then I made my own dictionary, but I only made it a little past C. So you might be wondering, what kind of things haven't made the cut over at Grokpedia? And surprise, surprise, it's the massive failures of Elon Musk.
Oh.
For example, when the Gizmodo article about this story was written, there was no article at all about the Department of Government Efficiency. And as of this recording, it has been appended to the article about the Doge meme.
Curiously, the entries for Path of Exile 2 and Micro Penis keep getting deleted as well. I don't know.
But don't worry. Not all of Grokpedia is right-wing propaganda. A tremendous amount of it is stolen from Wikipedia. Or as Gizmodo puts it, quote, some articles are strikingly similar to Wikipedia's and contain notes at the bottom saying they were adapted from Wikipedia under a share-alike 4.0 license, which would seem to indicate that those particular Grokpedia articles are also available to share freely. However, the URL for Grokpedia is at the .com top-level domain, not the .org domain like Wikipedia.
Yeah, okay, so now imagine that, like, Eli just presented his dictionary that only went through C, and then I go upstairs and I realize that the first 40 pages of my dictionary have been torn out.
Yes.
That's where we're at now.
And I'm selling it. It, and yours is free. So yeah, Grokpedia is quickly looking like it will amount to the same thing as every other project of Musk's, a psychopathic, incompetent attempt to create a separate internet that validates his insane, ketamine-addled worldview. But, you know, it does have a dark theme, which I really appreciate. It's got a dark theme.
Though.
Wikipedia doesn't have that.
Yeah. And in dread retention news, there's this thing that Heath sometimes does where he finds a really stupid thing on the internet that he wants to talk about, so he presents it as though it's a news item, and then we just all play along because we're mostly here for the dick jokes and nobody should be using our stuff as an actual news source. Well,
that's true.
Heath is off this week, and while I was at QED, my friend Jamie shows me this email that Trump had sent out to his supporters inviting them to donate to him and join his anti-communist club. And the whole fucking thing is like Dinesh D'Souza fucking a farmer's sheep on a car accident. So I kind of want an excuse to quote it to you at length.
Okay, fine, Noah, just this once. But if Lucinda texts me that you bought your own house, I'm supporting Heath's copyright claim against you. Just know.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So it starts off with a picture of Trump welcoming us to, quote, my brand new club for top MAGA patriots, end quote. He then explains that after careful consideration, he's willing to sell you membership in his anti-communist club, an exclusive organization made up of only people willing to send him $25.
A club that still has way more people in it than you'd think it would, though.
Yeah, right. But membership isn't just donating $25, of course. There are also buttons to donate much more. Below the button that says $25 MAGA, there's another one that says $50. Donate this amount if President Trump is the greatest president in history. Oddly enough, there's another one below that just says $100 MAGA.
No, I get it. Playing to the dementia crowd.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. It goes all the way up. So it ends at the oddly specific $3,300 amount. I'm sure if I looked into that number would turn out to be racist or connected to a conspiracy theory or both racist and connected to a conspiracy theory. But I didn't look it up because I've just finally gotten clear of the tactical sunglasses ads and I just can't go back.
Yeah. No, 33rd president was Harry Truman. It's a call forward, Noah.
When he nukes
you'll
us.
get it eventually.
Yeah. But giving money isn't all, though. So there's also a series of questions to weed out the wily communist that might think it's worth $25 to infiltrate their ranks. And I'm not going to read you all 9 of them, but I kind of want to because they're all amazing. They're all stuff like, quote, question 1, do you agree that communism has no place in the United States of America? And the answers it offers are, yes, it's evil and un-American, or no, I side with the radical left, and then parentheses, disqualifies membership.
Okay,
End quote.
fun fact, because I clicked on this, you can still give him money if you answer that. You just don't get into the club, I guess. Like
yes,
you
right.
get your nothing for your answer.
Yeah. So now that's question 1. Then we get question 2. Should President Trump make it illegal for taxpayers to fund communist countries like China? Sorry, I'm emphasizing the words that are all caps. And you're offered the options, yes, stop funding our enemies, or no, keep selling out America. Now, interestingly, a no on that one does not, according to the parenthetical, disqualify membership. I'm sure it doesn't bode well, though, for you.
Yeah, we'd hate to be hypocritical. You know
Yeah,
how this.
exactly. But it's not all binary choices. For example, on question 5, do you agree that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pushed a soft communist agenda on our country? You have the expected answers of yes, 100%, and no, I trust them, disqualifies membership. But there's also an option for not sure, in case you agree, but like your percentage is only in the 90s.
Look, some of these questions are getting a little hard, Tyler. This is a real woman, man, horse camera here. Okay?
But the piece de resistance comes in question number 8. It's both a perfect encapsulation of the belligerent stupidity of the whole exercise and a potent reminder of why we should still be scared shitless of it no matter how dumb it gets. Question 8. Which slogan best represents you? God's gun freedom or communism chaos control?
I mean, only one of us is using the latter slogan to demand funds from our supporters, but I get what you were going for.
There's that. Now, unfortunately, if Trump's anti-communism club appeals to you and you think you have the requisite bellicosity to pass the entrance exam and the between $2,500 and $3,300, I regret to inform you that your chances ended. When I checked this website, there was a clock ticking down showing you that you only had 9 hours remaining to join.
Ooh.
And when I checked the next day, that clock was down to 8. So I think you probably missed your window by now. But don't worry, if you stand to the right of it, I'm sure they'll drag another window over there eventually.
Yeah, it's the direction. And finally tonight, in monkey business news, if a thrilling jewel heist at the top of our program was a welcome reprieve from the onslaught of terribleness that is American landscapes, then this last story is a double injection of it between the toes, as this week, police shot and killed 5 escaped experimental lab monkeys because the driver who tipped the truck carrying them over told the cops they had COVID.
Oh my God. So $1,000 says that these trigger-happy cops didn't care enough about COVID to mask the fuck up, though.
Well, I'm not taking that bet. I am not taking that bet. Right. So this story comes to us from Mississippi because, of course it does, where a truck carrying 21 rhesus monkeys flipped over after the driver of that truck fell asleep. Now, 8 of those monkeys escaped after the accident, and the truck driver told the police that the monkeys had COVID, hepatitis C, and herpes, which caused the police department to put out an alert that day advising the public not to approach the monkeys. They warned that the monkeys were, quote, aggressive, writing that they posed a public health threat and required personal protective equipment to handle.
Okay, it's a real testament to American stupidity, though, that we have to put out a don't approach the frothing at the mouth science monkeys bulletin, right? And an even greater one that people almost certainly ignored.
Free monkey! Free monkey!
Yep.
Well, apparently that personal protective equipment for the police department was a gun, because before the university could correct the truck driver's assumption that the monkeys had all damn diseases...
Why would he assume that?
It's fucking insane. Police found and shot 5 of the escaped monkeys.
Aww.
Sheriff Randy Johnson of Jasper County, Mississippi, said of the incident, quote, "I hate it got to the point that it did. We were told they were highly infectious, dangerous to the public. We reacted on the information that we were given at the time." End exact quote.
Also, one of them was holding a banana, looked like a gun to us. Hey, do you think they just told the driver that so that he wouldn't take one home with him?
I bet. Now, weirdly, while the university was willing to clarify that we are not, in fact, in the first act of a Brad Pitt movie, they were not willing to comment on what the monkeys were being used for or why they were being transported. They released a statement saying, quote, "Non-human primates at the Tulane National Biomedical Research Center are provided to other research organizations to advance scientific discovery," end quote.
Plus, telling you what diseases our monkeys had would have violated HIPAA.
Yes, exactly. So for those of you who did the math along with me, that means that there are still 3 monkeys on the loose, though police are now publicly committed to recapturing them without deadly force. So if you live in Mississippi and a super intelligent monkey that looks like he's got the herp on his lip shows up at your door in an orange jumpsuit, now you know why.
Yeah, no, it would have been really confusing otherwise. And on that note, we're going to close it out. Thanks to Eli Bosnick, thanks to Heath Enright, wherever he might be, and thanks to all the listeners who liked us on Facebook and followed us on the various internets. Please keep doing that. Please keep listening, and please keep telling your friends. And if you find the naive stupidity of our giving away a free show business model to be oddly charming, you can send us gifts of money at patreon.com/Skepticrat, just like all the people that Heath will thank by name next time, probably. And whether or not you're feeling financially benevolent like those fine people, if you enjoyed our brand of whimsy and you'd like to hear more dick jokes free of charge, check out our brother and sister shows, The Scathing Atheist, GodAwfulMovies, D&D minus and the citation needed, available in all the podcast places. We just have one last thing. Let's compliment that penis. Special thanks to Ryan Slotnick of Evil Giraffes on Mars. He's the creator of the virtuosic musical stylings you heard today, which were used with his permission. You should check him out using the links we'll provide or by Googling the only band called Evil Giraffes on Mars. Until next time, catchphrase sign up. This content is CAN-credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm at their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at CreatorAccountabilityNetwork.org. The preceding podcast was a production of Puzzle and a Thunderstorm, LLC, copyright 2025, all rights reserved.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.